Hello, my cute, cuddly, at times cantankerous cancers. Welcome back. As you know, I am Sachi the Scorpio, and I am here to deliver your guided twin flame soulmate reading for a mid-month checkup for May. Please like, comment, subscribe. The more energy you send to me, the more I can send to you. So I'm sure that you've all been feeling the effects of the Scorpio full moon that happened on the 7th. We are still, sorting out those energies. Everybody I know is like, whoa, that was pretty crazy. So, a lot of revelations have come, that have come full circle. A lot of rebirths are happening. A lot of, shedding, like spiritual shedding that's happening. But I want to let you know what I picked up during the cleansing ceremony. So I felt that someone was like wearing pasties or something. So I don't know if someone has got some like new lingerie. Congratulations. But I also felt this energy of understanding your sort of like soul tribe calling, like that you've had a sort of like pull into a group. And I think there was some sort of revelation of recognizing the significance of numbers and how quality is better than quantity. And there was something a little bit painful, to be honest. There was an energy of like someone not being who you needed them to be and then having to push them away. And then I also got this energy that you are trying to rush through the darkness. I know that sounds weird, but that's what I channeled. And you can't do that. That's not how it works if you're doing your shadow work. You can't rush through it. I also felt some energy of escapism, so be careful of any sort of substance use that you are using in order to try to rush through that darkness, because it doesn't work that way. All right, let's see. What are the themes for Cancer? So we have ocean, ebb and flow. So I think that you are really understanding the, the push and pull of the emotional tides between you and your soulmate twin flame. The ebb and flow I very much take as twin flame sort of energy of like, the more that you push, the more that they pull, or the more that you chase, the more that they run. That sort of energy. So I do really feel that it's like learning that sort of delicate balance and how the ebb and flow is supposed to work, and really how it moves, how the energy moves. What else? Especially in an emotional way. Yes, rainbow blessings and wolf instinct. Gemini just had both of these. I think you're very much focused on what you are thankful for, your blessings, and how maybe this relationship is a blessing in itself. Of course, soulmate twin flames are always a blessing, and it very much is being able to see things, I feel like, from a higher perspective, like this is the visible spectrum of light for humans, where it's like, all right, let's take what is the light and let's break it down. You know what I mean? And I think that you have that. It's like you understand the light so much. You are able to boom, bam, bing. This is what the light is, but it's the shadow, I think, is what you're getting introduced to. And I'm really feeling that that you're trying to rush through the shadow, rush through the darkness, and it's not necessarily how you can go about it, because we have the wolf instinct. I think that this very much is an instinctual response within yourself, of how you were raised, what wolf pack you were in, where you instinctually want to, hide from the darkness or things like that. And I think it's very much, like an instinctual response that you've had since childhood. You could also be spending time with a dog. What else? Wind, activation. Yeah, I feel like you have been extremely activated in some sort of way. And I think it's a very spiritually enlightened way, where you're going through this let me drink some water, because it got dry. So I think it's about this sort of ebb and flow, and it's the wind that you bring it and how that relates to the ebb and flow. And the wind I take as air energy. Air is communication. And I think that there was some sort of instinctual situation that happened where it was like you, because of some sort of like, you know, automatic response that is programmed due to your childhood, this instinct that you had has disrupted some sort of ebb and flow. Either, you know, or perhaps your soulmate twin flame. You know, it's both of you, just the opposite end of the spectrum. And it's very much like the activation that someone activated it through their words, through their communication. And I think that you're understanding how the activational energy, you know, like for a chemical equation, you know, the activation energy that needs to be input with the wind is a very delicate ebb and flow. And I think that you're understanding, like, the more that you talk, the less that they will. You know what I mean? Like, the more that you chase, the more that they will run. And it's that kind of energy. All right, what is going on for Cancer? Whoa. Yeah. This definitely feels like some twin flame stuff. It definitely feels like some twin flame stuff. All right. We have the Emperor and the Page of Pentacles in reverse. Yeah, so there very much is some energy of, you know, the divine masculine being a little bit of a shapeshifter and going through a transformation. So I think that, you know, they are going through some sort of evolution. You know, this is the dragon spirit that's not necessarily evolved. The Emperor in this deck is kind of like, ugh, go away. Like, it kind of encapsulates all the bad qualities that need to be shed for the divine masculine. You know, this dragon flies over towns and people need to bring out offerings to it, or, you know, he's gonna be the big boss in town and, you know, blow his dragon breath everywhere just like this, and, you know, fucking burn your house down and eat your children and that sort of shit. You know what I mean? Like, ugh. So there is very much, they are going through some sort of, you know, rebirth in that way, but right now they are just stuck. Like, yes, they are your Emperor, this is a divine connection, but they have so much that they still need to shed. And with the Page of Pentacles in reverse, this is very much of like not being protected, like the plants. I feel like there was some sort of connection of you two coming together, you know, and this is very much keeping the cold, like putting the plants inside so the frost doesn't get them. You know, like what you planted your seeds, like this is still a pretty small plant. And it's funny because where I live, we just got a frost. Of course, the Scorpio full moon would bring a frost to Taurus's seeds, you know, because we're in Taurus season of like things that already sprouted, and the cold is coming for it, and it's going to kill off some sprouts. And I feel like that's kind of what happened, because they are just not as evolved as, you know, the divine masculine, not necessarily they, the divine masculine energy within both of you very much is still a little bit unevolved. Let's see, what is the light energy here? Whoa, 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 whoa. So, all right. Yeah, it wants to come out stuck, but there we go. We have Avalug using frost barrier. Yeah, there is some sort of frost barrier that you guys have not been able to thaw yet. And I feel like it's very much has to do with the emotional energy. And as you can see, the ebb and flow. I feel like one of you probably has too much emotions, and that causes the other ones to not have as strong as emotions. You know what I mean? It's that twin flame type balancing shit that's just like, whoa, otherworldly. So, you know, there still very much is this frost barrier between you. It says, its ice-covered body is as hard as steel. Its cumbersome frame crushes anything that stands in its way. So I feel like someone could be very cold in this situation, and I'm assuming that it's both of the divine masculine energy in both of you is just a cold bitch is what I'm hearing. And it puts up this frost barrier, you know, to try to solidify the emotions, you know, when really water is meant to ebb and flow. You can't try to solidify something like that. You know what I mean? But, oh, wow, that was like, okay, that was hiding. We have like the other person, they are working on it. They are stuck trying to work on it. They understand like shit, you know, like there is this barrier between us and they're trying to figure out how they can fix that. You know, they want to do maintenance on this. Trainer cards always mean another person. And we have Dunsparce using call for family and Ram. So they have run to their family and they're asking their family for help about what to do about this. It says, it digs into the ground with its tail and makes a maze-like nest. It can fly just a little. So definitely it seems like there is some sort of barrier between you. Someone has burrowed into the ground, you know. Interesting. And then seeking using ripping horn and pierce. So this very much like someone really pierced through the emotional realm, like just ripping horn, like loud, you know, like it ripped it might have been a throat chakra sort of rip, which might have needed to happen because of this frost barrier. I feel like someone like ripped through the throat chakra and, you know, might have scared someone into burrowing, but they're, you know, someone's trying to work on this. It says, using its horn, it bores holes in riverbed boulders, making nests to prevent its eggs from washing away. So it could have been a conversation very much about maybe family planning, or if, you know, someone wants to get pregnant or something like that. You know what I mean? It's like, it's about the eggs for the future. You know what I mean? And we had this idea of like seeds already beginning to sprout. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like it might have been like that it didn't sprout, you know what I mean? But in the future it might. All right. What's the shadow here? Stone or Honehenge in reverse and Poltergeist in reverse. So there's some sort of, again, we have Pierce again. So whatever happened in the emotional throat chakra pierce, it also pierced some sort of psychic connection as well about a poltergeist. So I don't know if there was some sort of black magic or spell or something like that, but there has been something that was broken in terms of that. So wow, that's really interesting. It's like you did it in the 3D, so it happened in the 5D. And it kind of got this like negative poltergeist, you know, like haunting energy is what I'm getting. It says, apparently this Pokemon is born when a departed spirit inhabits a sword. It attaches itself to people and drinks their life force. It's and the other one says, this species lives in antique teapots. Most pots are forgeries, but on rare occasions the authentic work is found. So first of all, if you have recently acquired an ancient artifact or something like that and you've been having some supernatural activity, get the fuck rid of it. I'm just gonna say that right now because both of these are about haunted items, so get them out of your midst. We also have that it says it attaches itself to people and drinks their life force. So I feel like there definitely could have been a third-party situation where there was some like negative, you know, energy cast at you that was like haunting this relationship, but that has been broken. So that is good. And it does talk about, you know, most pots are forgeries, but on rare occasion an authentic work is found. And I think that that has been a sort of realization for you both of like, this is the authentic shit. Like, this is it. This is it. Wow, I'm definitely getting some like twin flame energy again. Woo. All right, what else? What else? The Page of Cups in reverse. So I feel like someone was not like, someone is getting over some sort of emotional, like, infantile, not infantile, where did that come from? Like, emotionally immature end You know, like the Page of Cups, like he offers his cups to everyone, you know, like, oh yeah, I take my emotions, you know, he's a sloppy drunk. He likes to, you know, fuck for pleasure and do drugs like a dolphin. You know, it's the Page of Cups. But in reverse, I feel like, you know, that energy has been there, but it's very much releasing, you know, like they can't, like, it's not... It's about this ebb and flow. Like, it's not completely done yet in that regard, but it's getting there. What's the light aspect here? Clobopus using bind in reverse. So there could be some sort of sexual energy that's here. It talks about clobopus. So, you know, like clobopus. You know, who's been clobbering the pussy, you know what I'm saying? Like, so there could be someone who's, you know, not very serious when it comes to their sexual commitments. And this is a fighting type in reverse, so it's like maybe they don't want to fight about that anymore, or is what I'm hearing. But it's very much someone, you know, bind in reverse, that is not bound to any one person, that really, you know, Page of Cups, they're getting out of it, but it's still there. They're not able to, you know, actually commit. It says, it's very curious, but its means of investigating things is to try to punch them with its tentacles. By searching for food is what it... the search for food is what it brings to land. So I feel like this is someone who, like, wanted some sort of information, and the way that they got it was by hurting you, and then they were able to get the information that they wanted. And we did have this energy of them, you know, of someone, you know, sucking the life force out of you. So, you know, I feel like for both of you, you're doing that to each other, if it is a twin flame relationship, obviously, because, you know, the Emperor signifies the divine masculine on both of your ends, because, you know, it's the ebb and flow shit. Like, the more that you work on your shit, the better that they do. You know, it's like you're constantly doing that. And it sucks to be the twin doing more of the work, but I'm guessing if you're watching this, you're the twin doing more of the work. But anyway, so... You know, I feel like they tried to get some sort, like, it was emotionally sloppy of them to try to get some sort of information from you. Maybe like, oh, do you still love me? Are you, you know, into this? Like, they want to know your feelings and shit. They want to know what blessings that you have, because they do know that you're a blessing to them. But, like, the way that they just try to get that out of you was like, whoa, dude, what the fuck? What's the... Whoa. Okay, so the shadow wanted to, like, come straight towards me. Holy shit. Like, I felt fear, because for some reason, like, when they fell, I felt like I was falling. So I definitely feel that fear. Full Baby, Aromatherapy, and Hoot Hoot, Air Slash in reverse. So... Full Baby, I do take as a soulmate twin flame relationship, because it is about, you know... Like, it lands on a flower and mates with that flower forever. And because it's a fairy type, it has to do with one-on-one sort of partnerships and that sort of deal making. And I feel like there was some bad sort of deal here. And I felt like you smelt it. You know what I mean? Like, you knew what was in the air with the aromatherapy in reverse. I feel like you had signs of, like, this is probably not a good idea. Like, something smells fishy to me. But, you know, you didn't, like... heed those warnings, is what I'm hearing. And it says, it draws out and controls the hidden power of flowers. The flower Full Baby lands on is most likely parts of its body. So, you know, it talks about drawing out and controls the hidden power of flowers. And I feel like that's what this person did to you, was kind of like, boom, like punch, you know, trying to get some sort of emotional information from you, because they're just emotionally sloppy, you know, and like, you know, here they are trying to draw out and control you, you know what I mean? And it talks about it being part of its body, so you might have some sort of physical response to this. Be careful about the effects that it has on your body. Again, we talk about, like, the puss, so definitely take, like, your vaginal health into concern, is what I'm hearing. Interesting. So yeah, with Hoot Hoot, Air Slash in reverse, I feel like someone is what I'm getting. Like someone didn't hear a response back, and there's very much this fear, you know what I mean? Like Hut is very afraid because, you know, the god of thunder is in the night, and it's very much about staying inside and being nervous about, you know, the storm that's brewing outside. But you need to know in these sorts of relationships, because this feels twin flamey, it's like if you're stuck in fear, then they're going to be stuck in fear. So you need to like release that fear, and you need to, you know, get a little bit on this higher level of focusing on the blessings that you have, because when you are focused on the light and all the light that you have, then, you know, the shadow can transform. But that's a journey, but you can't rush through the shadow, you know what I mean? But part of that is recognizing all the blessings that you have and what that brings to you. So let's see. This says, every day it tilts its head in the same rhythm. A long time ago, people raised these Pokemon to serve as clocks. So I feel like every day it tilts its head in the same rhythm. I feel like this is a cycle that you've gone through before. Like they've done this. They've come out, and, you know, the way that they've collected information from you hurt, you know, and you knew it was coming. And, you know, this might also be some sort of energy about, you know, a long time ago, people raised these Pokemon to serve as clocks. So I feel like there could have been some sort of misunderstanding about, like, you know, I need this in this certain amount of time, and da 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 da, you know, and things like that. So, yeah, interesting. Let's see about this instinct. Oop. The Nine of Swords in reverse. So I feel like there is something that you are definitely understanding about activation of, like, the Nine of Swords. I think that there has been a very painful energy that you are letting go of, and it was your instinct to kind of let go of that. You know, like the Nine of Swords, I associate this card with Bjork, and she's screaming, I honor my pain, you know, like some real intense fucking twin flame shit, you know, of like, yeah, like look at her face. Look at her face. She honors that pain, you know, and I feel like, you know, and here we have the full moon. Like, here's the wolf under the full moon. And, you know, I think that there was some instinct of you to try to release this and things, and to not want to go back to that place. I think that you're done sort of dwelling on that pain, that you don't, you don't want to be emotionally connected or like, converse in that way from a place of pain anymore. But it was very much an instinct, and I feel like it's tied to your upbringing and the way that, you know, you have been raised to proclaim something in such a loud way. And, you know, this card specifically is about the ghost of a mother who lost her child. You know, it's the worst pain that you could possibly imagine. And it's very much like you don't want to repeat that sort of sadness. Let's see, Galvantula using electro web. So Galvantula, we do have, like, you know, tarantula, we have spider spirit coming up. Very much about, you know, electro web, of how, you know, this, it could have been something that was said or done or whatever over the internet or over technology, because it talks about the electro web. So it might have been not something that happened in person, but it, you know, very much has to do with, I mean, okay, so you know, the spider traps, as we know, and we had like that someone definitely trapped here. So there's some energy of trapping some sort of solar plexus energy, which is like, this is who I am, and this is what I stand for, you know, all that solar plexus stuff. And it says, they employ an electrically charged web to trap their prey. While it is immobilized by shock, they leisurely consume it. So I feel like this, you know, there was some energy to like stun someone and to trap them, and then, you know, when they're immobilized, then try to consume their energy, sort of thing. And I feel like that was done to you, you know what I mean? Or maybe you did that to someone, that to like, you know, test them in some way, or they tested you in some way, pretty cruelly, it appears, you know, and it was just so that they could taste your energy. And it has to do about this pain. What's the shadow energy here? Dark in reverse. So yeah, like it's dark energy in reverse in the shadow. So it's like you're recognizing the darkness here, and how I was talking about, like, you know, that you've been running through it. I feel like this sort of cycle and this instinct, you're trying to rush through the shadow process, but there, you know, take your time and you need to go through that. And it's like your instinct to want to run away from that, but you know, the dark needs to be upright in the shadow. You know what I mean? So there's definitely some shadow work that needs to go on there. All right, what's going on with this activation? 4 of Cups. So you have come to some sort of conclusion about like the way that you feel about these emotions and how that activates you to cause this sort of wind, which creates this ebb and flow between you two. And it's very much, you know, the 4 of Cups is, it's like feeling trapped and drowning within your own emotions, you know, and this is very kind of like Titanic-y as well, of like, oh yeah, emotionally we can't go wrong. Like emotionally everything has to go well. Like, no, it has sunk to the bottom of the ocean, and that is that. All right, what's the light aspect here? Whoa, okay. So, yeah, soulmate twin flame in reverse, Mudbury using rear kick, and Ghastly using fade out in reverse. So this definitely has caused some issues between soulmate twin flame energy and the way that you have united. And it's like, the thing is like, of course we can point fingers all day, but when it comes to it, it's both of you. It's both of your divine masculine energy that needs to get itself right, because, you know, the way that you behave is a reflection of how they behave, and vice versa. It's just this weird, delicate dance that we do as twin flames or as soulmates, but I'm definitely getting some heavy twin flame shit here. But unfortunately, this has kicked you guys back. This is like something that you have to fight against. Like, you know, rear kick is like, oh, yep, we have to go through this cycle again. Like, this was a kick in the ass, but it's not fading out. You know, this is psychic type. It's not fading out. And like, there definitely is some energy. Like, look at Madberry. Like, honestly, I get the same sort of energy, don't you, with the Emperor and this guy, like, just goofy as fuck. You know, just unevolved, goofy as fuck. Like, what are you doing, dude? Like, oh, you look like an idiot. You know what I mean? It says, loads weighing up to 50 times as much as its own body weight pose no issue for this Pokemon. It's skilled at making use of mud. So I feel like someone has taken on too much, and it's like, you know, or something, this activation may have been too much for someone to the point where they are drowning. And, you know, it's like, because of that, it pushed you guys back a bit, because, like, both of you are drowning. It's not just one of you. Like, both of you are drowning in some way, and someone, you know, whoever didn't give what they needed to before, it's their turn to do that sort of shit. And if you've been the runner, it's time for, or if they've been the runner, it's time for you to be the runner, sort of thing. You know, it says it's skills at making use of mud. So because you might be dealing with an earth sign is what I'm getting, because, you know, as a Cancer, you have water. So mixing it with earth is muddy, you know, so like they are ready to start that. You know, we had some energy of planting seeds and stuff, and they do want to put the water and the earth together, so to speak, but they right now just have so much on their plate. And this psychic connection is not going to fade out because of this, but we do have Ghastly, so there is some sort of, you know, trickster, ghosty sort of energy. like this is coming up and down the stairs. So like I said, I don't know if you have some sort of object that might be, you know, have something attached to it, because we had 2 cards coming up with that sort of attachment. And then we also have an actual ghost. So it says, born from gases, any would faint if engulfed by its gaseous body, which contains poison. So I also think that there might be some, you know, I mentioned substance stuff before. So I don't know if someone has some sort of, you know, maybe smoking or, you know, whatever else would be gaseous, like, you know, if engulfed by it, it's poison. So it's really talking about being careful about what sort of gases that you put in your body and things like that. So just be aware of that. And then Hitmonchan, coordinated beatdown, and Mach Cross. So I feel like this is them trying to fight for this, is what I'm getting. It very much like this maintenance, like the other person definitely wants to work on this, and like they are trying, coordinated beatdown, they are trying to make some sort of plan in order to beat this down. And Mach Cross, like this is soulmate twin flame. Like look, they are both above the heavens. Hitmonlee and Hitmonchan, they are equal opposites sort of shit. They want to fight for this in order to come together again. It says it punches, its punches slice the air. However, it seems to need a short break after fighting for 3 minutes. So I feel like you guys might have had some sort of argument or a fight and they need a break. And it's like, oh, that was nothing. You know what I mean? Like, but we did have the energy of piercing, you know, like something definitely broke the air. It broke that sort of silence is what I'm hearing. And like now someone already needs a break. You know, but it has been activated. If you guys had a curse on you guys, I know like a lot of energy doesn't want twin flames to come together for some reason. So like that's why it's so much work. And you know, the curse, you know, whether it was you two cursing each other sort of shit, you know what I mean, has been lifted, but there is still some work that needs to be done here. What's the shadow aspect? So this was in reverse and then it wants to become stuck. So it's like whatever you're not cleaning up, you need to clean up and like get some sort of routine about cleaning. Interesting. Very, very interesting. And I feel like that's kind of, maybe you manifest things emotionally in your physical world. So when like emotionally your world is chaos, maybe you let your environment get very chaotic, but you need to do some sort of routine about cleaning up. Not that you have to. I mean, obviously take what you want, leave everything else. But there could be some, you know, help here when it comes to cleaning up. We also have a lot of spoons, and we did have some, you know, substance abuse shit as well. So it could be food, you know, addictions, and it could also be, of course, drugs. I'll be real. So it says, these Pokemon prefer a tidy habitat. They are always sweeping and dusting, using their tails as brooms. So very much about cleaning up your environment. You know what they say, cleanliness is next to godliness. We are fucking mortals, aren't we? So, you know, I understand how it's easy to neglect that sort of stuff, but it can really help improve this. And I think it will help your mind and your emotional state for like, you know, if you have a clean space, you won't feel like you're drowning in your own space. You know what I mean? So just keep that in check. All right. What does Cancer need to hear about love? Well, what does Cancer? All right. The strongest emotion is